Okay, let's switch to this other war. You and I have talked about this. I've talked about this with Scott Ritter. I've talked
Hmm.
about this with Colonel McGregor, Tony Schaefer. We all know that there are boots on the ground in Ukraine. Specifically, front London has ordered United Kingdom Army in there. Poland, United States. They are dressed differently, but they have their insignia. Um, but it's now been officially leaked. Top German generals on a video chat uh, leaked out that there are boots on the ground from the United Kingdom.
Right.
London's not happy about that. Putin knew, but now it's official. Where do you think we go from here? Because Russia is now saying if there's going to be a World War III, it's going to be Europe and specifically London that starts World War III, not Moscow. What are your thoughts?
Well, let's go back and look at the timing of what happened before that leak came out. So, early that week, you had the New York Times put out this piece identifying 12 CIA bases. And that whole New York Times piece, I think we discussed it on your show previously, was that was a planted story. It was designed to do two things: to say, look what a great job the CIA has done. It's been doing everything in its power to help out the Ukrainians. And boy, but that the head of their intelligence branch, Budanov, he's sort of a loose cannon, a crazy guy. He outraged Obama, he outraged John Brennan, and he's carried out some really risky activities. So, they're already getting the story out that, well, CIA's been doing the best it could, but it's not enough because the Ukrainians are not controllable. So that was the story that comes out, and then you get Macron of France saying, "Oh yeah, well we haven't ruled out putting in French troops and carrying out military operations in Ukraine." So then you have Vladimir Putin give a speech, the state of Russia, it's like their version of State of the Union. And in that state of Russia talk, he was very specific about warning NATO, the United States, that they're preparing to cross a red line and that Russia would respond. Russia would protect itself. So then it was the next day that this leak occurred. So that leak again was deliberate. I believe the Russians did it because they were putting that out as a way to both expose what the Germans were doing, because to embarrass the various NATO countries that were mentioned by the Germans, but just also, if you will, to put an exclamation point on what Putin said the previous day. And so now let's take the sort of the broader view of what's going on. Last night at the State of the Union speech, you get Biden with all this belligerent talk about excuse me, about Russia and Putin and attacking them. But we're not going to put troops on the ground. But it was very aggressive, very bellicose. And then you have Macron doubling down. So this thing. And then you had the United States issue a warning and to all the Americans in Moscow, hey, stay away from big events because there could be a terrorist attack in the next 48 hours. Well, how do you know that? That means you have intelligence. Well, if you have intelligence, knowing that there's going to be a terrorist attack inside of Russia, first thing we should be doing, if we believe in fighting against terrorism, is warning the Russians. And you warn the Russians diplomatically. You do it behind the scenes so that you don't disclose that you've actually got intelligence on this, that you take that information so that you defeat the terrorist threat. Well, that's not what's going on. So this is clearly that the United States is signaling, yeah, we know something may happen, that we're involved with helping plan. So this situation, it's getting messier. The Russians are winning on the ground. There's no doubt about that, and that's why you're seeing sort of this extreme reaction, panicked reaction by the likes of the French, the Brits, and the Biden administration. They don't know what to do because they've lost control of the narrative.
Yeah, that was going to be my final question for you was, if we have this information, number one, why leak it publicly?
Yeah,
Why declare that I don't know, it has very, very mixed motives in my
yes,
mind, because it appears as if they have the intelligence. It also appears as like an act of kindness. Oh, we're warning you, but not through back channels so that you can handle it and maybe prevent it, but publicly so that we're out front. Hey, it wasn't us. We tried to be the
yeah,
good guys and warn. The whole thing is putting off mixed signals for me.
yeah. No, you're exactly right, Stephen. Uh, let's recall that when the Boston Marathon bombing took place by the Tsarnaev brothers, we found out subsequently that 6 months before, the Russian intelligence had contacted the FBI and said, hey, you guys need to keep an eye on the Tsarnaev brothers. They come out of a terrorist background in Chechnya, and they're a threat. They didn't go public with it. The Russians didn't say, hey, there's going to be a terrorist attack in Boston and the Americans better pay attention. They knew that'd be stupid, because that would implicate them in the planning and execution of the attack. They went quietly, professionally, as they're supposed to. So what the hell are we doing? This public warning, 48 hours only. Come on. This is unprofessional at best, and it's very dangerous, because let's say there is an attack, and the Russians are able to establish that there was actually some tie back to U.S. trainers that had one of these CIA bases in Ukraine. We've committed another act of war against Russia, and we keep acting with impunity. We think we can continue to be facilitators, accessories to murder, and not get punished. At some point, the Russian patience is going to wear off, and we're going to get bloodied seriously.
Yeah, that's my worry. Larry, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate all the hours and hours of reading and research and connections and conversations behind the scenes so that you can help us better understand this crazy thing. We're all hoping and praying it, can end soon, but it doesn't look like it will. If people want to stay in touch and keep learning from you in between times on my show, is Sonar 21 still the best place to do that?
That is the place, sonar21.com.
Okay, I'll make sure to leave that down below. Folks, if you enjoy this information, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps me bring on incredible guests like Larry Johnson. Larry, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, Stephen. You too.